Divorced, beheaded and died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. I'm Henry VIII, I had 6 sorry wives. Some might say I ruined their lives.
Okay, so you've probably heard of the song, or quite a few of you have. But what do you actually know about the man himself, who was perhaps England's most famous king, and the 6 women he married? Well, I can tell you this, Year 7. These women weren't just part of some soap opera storyline surrounding the king. This wasn't an episode of EastEnders. Each of these women had a profound impact, not just on the king and the country at the time, but on the entire future history of England and the rest of Britain and everywhere else that Britain has gone on to influence if we look forward to the Empire days. He married 6 women, and they went in this order. So first he married Catherine of Aragon, the daughter of the Spanish king and queen. Spain back then was the most powerful country in the world. Okay, it was the equivalent of the United States. So for England, which in comparison was a relatively small country, had secured seemingly quite a coup when its king married a Spanish princess. But then, and you'll discover how this came about, he famously divorced her, and in turn broke with the church in Rome for several reasons, partly because Catherine of Aragon couldn't give him a son, and if we remember back to our prior learning, we know that they took having a male heir and legitimacy extremely seriously back then. And unfortunately it was quite a sexist society, and therefore it wasn't believed that women could rule. So despite the fact that he had a daughter with her, he felt he needed a son. But there is also no doubt that he genuinely fell in love with his second wife, who's Anne Boleyn. I won't give the spoilers away, but she didn't last too long before he ended up marrying Jane Seymour, before going on to Anne of Cleves, Catherine Howard, and finally Catherine Parr. Divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. But what we want to do today is know who they were, who these women were, and not just their names, but something about them. We want to understand why he had 6 wives. Again, this is a very different society to the one that exists today. Divorce was not so common. In fact, it was almost completely unheard of for the king or queen to divorce back in 16th century England or Europe as a whole. So how this man not only got married to more than 1 woman, but ended up marrying 6 women is quite a tricky question to answer. So what I want you to do is, you will see attached on Frog, there are these fact files on each of Henry's wives. And I want you to, either through your own research or using this information sheet, I want you to fill those fact files in, okay? So you need to get some biographical information and some interesting facts about them. Remember to stick to the time limit, so don't spend hours and hours and hours writing about who Anne of Cleves' favourite pet was, or what Jane Seymour liked to eat for breakfast, or something like that. Just focus on really interesting and significant facts. And then answer this question. You pick your challenge, either the red, orange or green box, identification and listing, explanation or judgment, entirely up to you. And then you will need to, if you can, and I know a few of you are in contact with each other, what would be really good is if you manage to swap your books with someone else, or swap your answer with someone else in the class, and give each other a www and an EBI, and even better if. However, if you can't, just self-assess it and give yourself, again, a www and EBI. Okay, so that should be enough for you to get on with. If you have any questions, ask. If you are stuck on the work, ask. I will be here free to contact via email. Best of luck.